good evening and welcome everyone to the SQ1 Summer Split quarter-final match between the Royal Reapers and the Vuptrox Academy. We've got another best of 3. I'm Kachka and my caster tonight will be the Sarge.
Hello, Kashka. How are you doing, my friend?
I am excited for this best of 3 quarter-final, hopefully going into all 3 games, and there are just so many things to talk about both these teams. They finished really close in terms of the regular season, but Royal Reapers do have the head-to-head over Vuptrox, just something that I think is important to mention.
Yeah, it definitely is, because we saw Royal Reapers and Vuptrox Academy actually play each other in the final week before we got into our playoffs, quarterfinals, and so forth. And Royal Reapers came from a deficit to beat Vuptrox Academy with a clutch Baron steal. So that defeat is going to be fresh in the mind of the Vuptrox players. They're not going to want to let Royal Reapers get any avenues back into this game, but Royal Reapers, they're going to be riding confident.
They definitely will be us. Vuptrox, they even had some, slight changes since the last time we saw them. The one change in the actual roster was Lepiggy in the support, who didn't play before, for them at least. I mean, he was on the roster, he just didn't play in SQ1. And then they will also have an emergency sub, as far as I am concerned, in Yang Gang. So we'll see if Vuptrox are in their full strength today.
Yeah, and I believe as well in terms of players and subs, we are back with RR Awaken for Royal Reapers up in the top lane. I know the last time we saw them, they had the Salt. He was an emergency sub in, but it will be back to the Awaken as far as we are aware. So Royal Reapers going to be going in with the team that they have the most cohesion on, that they've played the most together as a coherent unit throughout the regular season. They're going to be feeling in a good position, all on the same, the same kind of calls, the same kind of decisions. There's going to be a lot of coordination between there, whereas we might not see some of that from a couple of the subs from Vuptrox Academy. Because Yang Gang, like you mentioned, he is actually from one of the other teams from the league that we had right at the start, Black Rose Gaming. He was a very successful jungler for that squad as when he was part of it.
Yeah, he definitely was, and maybe that's where I want to talk about some of the expectations that we have for those teams and how they want to play. Because I look at Royal Reapers, I look at their games, and Omena Awaken, together with their jungler, especially in the last few weeks, they have been the 3 guys to step up. And if you are Royal Reapers, playing around your soul lanes is definitely something you will be looking to do.
Yeah, this man in the mid lane, Omena, he is a big part of the team. He has been very prominent for them. He is either hard carrying, smashing through the enemy towers, deleting your opposing team's health bars, or he is being hard focused. Our teams in the league have learned that Omena is the man to target for Royal Reapers. He does a lot of work for the team, so expect to see explosions around this mid lane. But as well, we've already mentioned Awaken up in the top side. He's very dependable for Royal Reapers as well. He's been here the entire split, apart from when he has had to have some emergency subs out for personal commitments with school, etc. So there's a good backbone for this Royal Reapers team to actually work through the solo lanes and carry independently without the jungle assistance or bot needing to kind of prop them up too much.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, but whilst we are on the jungle, I think it's important to mention the performance that Candine Mylene had in last week. Yeah, I mean, he was just playing out of his mind, with the Baron steal as well, the ganks, everything together. And one of the champions he did it on was Rek'Sai, and the thing is, the other jungler for Vuptrox Academy, Yang Gang, he can also play this pick. So I feel like when we come to the draft, we might find ourselves with some focus being put into securing the better jungler.
Priority picks for the teams have been a big concern. Like you say, when we have something like the Rek'Sai, which has such an early game impact, able to gank from lots of creative angles and perform these Baron steals like we saw last week from Royal Reapers, it is going to be a highly contested pick. Now, Royal Reapers have opted for blue side on the first game. They will have first access to that priority champion, so it's going to be interesting to see whether Vuptrox decide to ban that away, or whether they have some kind of response going for. Typically we see the Jarvan, but we've also seen a couple of interesting picks from our sub jungler as well. We won't reveal those until we get into the lobby and we get a bit more information, so the teams don't get any extra knowledge and we don't give one team an unfair advantage. But there could be some surprises coming out here from Vuptrox Academy that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to just one thing that I mean, I think it's gonna happen. You know, the man Toxie in the mid lane, I think. If his Anivia wasn't banned, then I'm pretty sure he picked it every single time. So Royal Reapers will probably also have to dedicate one ban towards that. But something that I'm more excited about is twice in the split, he pulled out the Pike in the mid lane, which is a really spicy pick, and both times he carried. And you see, the reason why I'm not too afraid of Royal Reapers just taking that is because you probably don't also want to commit your 2 bans into the mid lane. So I just want to see Vuptrox Academy like bring out something spicy, make this a series worth watching as we are moving into those best of threes.
Oh, I think this is going to be a series worth watching regardless. It's going to be really, really good. Because we have these two high-level teams going at each other, but both wanting to take the prize. Neither one is going to want to be knocked out here. They've come so far, they've had a really tough regular season. Both of them have dropped games, neither coming through unscathed. So to lose out in this best of three at the quarterfinals, it's not going to sit too nicely. These teams want to be going all the way, they want to be pushing forward, they want a place in the finals, and this is the first roadblock on that path.
And I feel like it will be just a disappointment for either. If you don't do it, it's as simple as that. The stakes are gonna be high. We just got the information. Vuptrox Academy will lose 3 bans in Game 1 due to their late submission of the emergency sub, which not the best way to start off the series, but we'll see how they can, you know, come back from it.
It definitely gives Royal Reapers a lot more flexibility and options. Like, if we're going to be looking at target bans for these guys and what you want to take away from the table, there's a lot of options within the meta right now and within these players' wheelhouses that those 3 bans would have been very influential in removing. So that is going to hurt Vuptrox a lot. It could hinder them in this first game, but that is only for the first game as far as we're aware. So that's going to be a bit of a test, seeing what they can deal with. And I think if Vuptrox do manage to navigate that draft phase, get a secure team comp for themselves, that's going to be the priority this time round, rather than trying to hinder Royal Reapers in the draft phase.
I definitely have to share your sentiment, and somewhere where I am actually looking at for Vuptrox Academy is when they had brought in Crisey, he played 2 games, but in both of those games, he won bot lane fairly hard. Against the Royal Reapers, the one that was on stream, it didn't win him the game in the end, but it was still an impressive performance. Then there was another game against Glorious Gaming, in which he actually was able to carry the game on a Xayah. And what that shows to me is that there is potential in this Vuptrox bot lane. And if you look at the Royal Reapers, bot lane is the lane where they haven't been too hot recently. They haven't really been losing the lanes, but they haven't been winning either. And if you're Vuptrox Academy, that is where I would be looking to strike.
The teams could definitely look to try and split the map up, flip areas of pressure. Royal Reapers focusing around the top and mid, where Vuptrox focus around the bottom. Like you say, Casca, if that is the case, Vuptrox should win out in that bot lane from what we've seen recently. 6-2 on the Draven was the scoreline at 20 minutes against Royal Reapers. That is going to stick in their memory. Might even draw a ban potentially. So we might see Crisey having a lot of impact in this game. Or we could see him fall back and let Lepiggy go onto something a bit more roamy, something that can have impact around the map, help out his mid lane, and try and shore up some of those weaknesses elsewhere when they know they're into this powerhouse of a Mena. There's a couple of different styles that Vuptrox could go for. Snowballing through bot would appear the obvious one at the moment, but we can't count these teams out from anything creative at all.
Definitely not, and I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking to the picks and bans just get me in the game already. I can't wait. The Royal Reapers of Vuptrox Academy, you know, we said that story, and it will be the story for this quarterfinal. Shaky starts, now they're here, and only one of them makes them through. It's games like those that always bring out the best from the players. And it's all going to be about to start. Yeah, good English.
Yeah, we are soon going to be moving into our pick and ban phase. The teams are going to be chomping at the bit on comms. They want to get stuck into each other. They want to make this a quarter-final to remember. And I don't know about you, Casca, but it's pretty hot over here in England already with me. And I don't think these teams are going to let us cool down at all this evening. I do think we're going to be on the edge of the seats with a heat-packed quarter-finals.
Alright, and on that we are going into the Champion Select. That's the graphics from yesterday. Okay, well, anyways. We are finally going to go in. Yeah, you can see that. Just don't mind us, because the picks and bans have been started. And there it is, the Anivia ban, of course, against Toxic. Like, why wouldn't you ban his Anivia? I think he has like 400 games played on it.
That is the problem when you are a bit of a one-trick on champions. You do draw bans pretty much immediately. You are painting a target over your head to get rid of that. But Vuptrox would have been expecting this ban. It won't come as a surprise to them. So they're bound to have other picks in the lane instead. But like we said, they are missing some of their bans because of a late submission of that emergency sub. So it's all going to be about Royal Reapers and what they want to take off the table. They're going to have free reign over all the priority picks here in this first phase of bans.
Yeah, they definitely do. They actually decide to remove the Yuumi, and now I think I actually did see it being played by someone. I do have to confirm. Crazy did practice the Garen with the Yuumi.
Oh no.
So that might be where the ban is targeted. Just no Garen, please. I mean, I would love to see it. I just don't think it's going to get through.
Well, we've already had the Yuumi removed, so the key component of that Garen Yuumi bot lane, which we have seen draw success in different regions. I know it was played in the LEC by Fnatic. They had good success on this pick because it's such a powerful combination. You basically can't die post 20 minutes. So that might come out in the second game or further down the line. But for this game, without that Yuumi, I very much doubt Vuptrox would be going for that. And Royal Reaper's taking away the Akali as well. Don't want Toxi to get his hands on that, and don't want it to risk it potentially wandering up to the top lane for Endorser either. So Anivia, Yuumi and Akali will be the bans for Royal Reapers, and they have first pick, could snatch up this Rek'Sai if they want.
Yeah, we'll see if they place priority on that, or maybe they want to just... I was going to say the Sylas is another pick that I think Omena has played. It can be played in the jungle as well as the top lane, but there goes the Xayah. Crazy had good performance, and I don't see why not just pick it again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're singing this ADC's praises for his Xayah and Draven performance. One of those champions immediately locked in the Xayah, looking to do some work for his team, and SQ1 taken for the jungle. A lot of power to play with. It has good impact all throughout the game. Lots of tankiness, lots of engage, good frontline to keep your AD carries safe.
But I love the response from Royal Reapers. Instantly, Caitlyn Morgana. We said they aren't looking too hot in the bot lane. I think they will be really trying to prove us wrong. Going for this hyper-aggressive, just shove the lane in, look for the kills. I'm already looking forward to this matchup.
Yeah, and with the Caitlyn Morgana, you do have the push. There is so much pushing power with this duo that that Chrissy and Lipigi could find themselves under their tower for a large portion of the laning phase. But with a Karma, there's going to be some response back. That is a very versatile champion, can be moved all around the rift. But if that goes into the support role, provides lots of utility and a good poke as well back. So I do like the response if it is the Karma in the bot lane. And assuming that's a Sylas jungle, both of these teams are going to need their top and mid now. And you can see these are going to be banned away. The Rek'Sai is going to be taken off the table there. Aatrox, Mordekaiser and Xerath will be our remaining bans heading into phase 2.
Right, Vuptrox Academy, they've got the first pick in the second phase. Yeah, just touching on the Rek'Sai ban, I like it, just making sure that you aren't going to give that if they want to put the Sylas in mid and or top lane.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vuptrox Academy taking their time. They do have the Azir. If they go for it, that indicates they want to scale.
Definitely looking to try and scale up here, and Azir does practically nothing through levels 1 to 6, so they are really going to struggle if Royal Reapers decide to go with something early. Something like a Zed, a Talon, something with a lot of engage, a lot of kill pressure early. Now, if the Sylas goes into the mid lane, rather than the jungle like we think it might be, that is already a good option to try and fight with this Azir early. But we'll have to see what they actually choose, as the Shen's going to be picked up for the top lane. Gives the team a lot of safety, and if we were talking about Imbi and Francesco being a bit of a weakness on this bottom side of the map for Royal Reapers, that Shen is definitely going to help keep them safe.
Yeah, and now the Corki is the last haver, and with that, Royal Reapers, they round out their comp. You've got the Stunned United, you can make the plays, but then they also secure themselves some counter-scaling with that Corki. I feel like Royal Reapers, with their draft, they got the best of both worlds. They can both try and snowball, and then they don't really fall off in the late game.
there's a lot of pressure going to be coming out at all stages of the game from Royal Reapers. It's going to depend a lot on how well Candy and Mylene can play on this Sylas in the jungle. He's kind of that bridge that's going to get them to the late game, where this Cork is going to start being useful, where the Caitlyn's going to have scaled up. But that last pick for Vuptrox, that is an Aatrox going towards the top side of the map. Someone who has fallen out of the meta a little bit in recent months, but is making a small resurgence. People are playing him still has a massive amount of pressure on this top side of him being a ranged top laner into the melee. He's very good against tanks because of his passive, and that ultimate can immediately chunk somebody out of a fight if they get caught by any kind of poke or harass. So I do like this pick. I think it has good options to try and keep enough pressure on the top side so Awaken can't use his stand united too liberally and can't get to that bot lane to help out his duo down there.
Right, because if you look at the Royal Reapers, it will be all about trying to get your Caitlyn ahead. If MP can rack up some kills, can find a CS lead over Chrissy in bot lane, Royal Reapers will be feeling very well in this game 1, and yeah, not much more you can say about that. You also have the Sylas, which is a really good ganker, and the Stand United. If you can cut it at its source, it's gonna help you if you are Vuptrox, because your bot lane, I'm already feeling a bit bad for them.
Yeah, and something we have to talk about, you touched on it briefly, where Candy and Mylene Sylas, you have to remember, with this champion in the game, all of the strong ultimates that Vuptrox have drafted for themselves are suddenly available to Royal Reapers as well. So Endorser has the Urgot ultimate, sorry. Sejuani has that long range engage. The Azir has the ability to use the Emperor's Divide and separate a teamfight out. All of these options are now open to Candy in Mylene, and given how well he's been playing for Royal Reapers, how much of a powerhouse he's been in the jungle, that is a very, very scary proposition, and something that Vuptrox are going to have to keep track of, which ultimate that Sylas is actually holding on to.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen time and time again the glacial prisons being stolen by the Sylases, and if you're ahead, they do such a great work in the initiations, which is, I feel like, what Royal Reapers need when it comes to the team fighting aspect, since they have the double marksman with the Morgana. If you can have the Sylas just going in the middle of everyone and somehow get that Xayah or the Azir, that's all you want. But then I look at Vuptrox Academy, and I feel like teamfights is where their comp will excel.
Absolutely, and Vuptrox definitely have the advantage in terms of being able to force fights. With that Sejuani, that really tanky, beefy frontline being able to dive in and disrupt Royal Reapers immediately, the Azir being able to follow up, Lipigi is going to have all of these speed boosts with the Karma, just powering up that the Urgot, powering up the Xayah, letting them get into position faster around fights. It's going to get really difficult if Royal Reapers do fall behind slightly and find themselves not able to respond to these plays when Vuptrox are playing so aggressively forwards. It is definitely an option we're going to be able to do, and one that Royal Reapers can't really respond to at the minute. Their best form of engage is a flash taunt from the Shen. It's a disdain from the Sylas. It's not looking too good for them in terms of being able to get onto a target and initiate these big team fights. It's scrappy fights, 2v2s, 3v3s, where Royal Reapers are going to do well, and it's going to come down to how well they can split the map up and find these engagements on their terms.
Alright, and just before we will load into the game, I just want to bring the focus back onto the two people that we will have to following very closely. Oh, we are in the Rift already, but I will say it anyways. Candy and Mylene, as well as Yang Gang. We need to be watching them. Sylas, Sejuani, early game, you've got many lanes to gank. Well, mid lane will be a bit tricky, but other than that, you should be expecting them to be proactive. You need to get the leads. We heard why, and now it's all up to them to make it happen.
Yeah, the teams aren't taking any early risks here. There's nothing too strange coming out. Right now, they are just taking a standard line of scrimmage. No early aggression will be coming out. Neither team wanting to give away any leads too early by potential misplay or overstepping. So showing a lot of respect for each other early as we do start our quarterfinals.
Yes, we do. It's all just a bit slow at the beginning. We don't need a lot of action as now. Omena walking forward. Royal Reapers, they're just looking for the Raptor ward. They will be able to get it. Just a nice piece of information about where Yang Gang wants to path.
Yeah, and as the teams start to fan out here. We're seeing the junglers both starting on the red side, so we'll be pathing in opposite directions. They might both look towards those Krugs, trying to get some early experience. Imbi's going to take a little bit of poke there as he walks through that bush, and it will be the bot lane of Vuptrox that are first onto this wave. They will get the early level 2 from it, and they might be looking for an early engage. I think he does have the Ignite, as we're seeing standard from our Enchanter supports, so we might be seeing blood really early in this game.
It all depends whether Imbi and Francesco will eat more poke. So far, the Caitlyn down to about 2/3 of her health. The level 2 should be hit first by Chrissy and Lepiggy, and now they do it. The movement speed is up. That's a good damage binding from Francesco. Will respawn, and that's the end of the trade.
Yeah, we saw Vuptrox immediately stepping forwards there. As soon as that level 2 came forward, they charged forward. Royal Reapers knew what was going to happen. They did manage to back off, and a good binding by Francesco secures Imbi's life, but they are both very low now, forced under tower, and it's going to look a bit dicey. If Yangang wants to try and make something happen down here, the Sejuani does have that armor available to her with the passive and with the aftershock as well. So, although it's still early days, we could be looking at a tower dive to snipe out that very low Caitlyn.
Definitely a possibility. Just 3 minutes in. The other lanes, they are pretty even. Awaken getting the early shove up in the top lane against the Endorser. In mid lane, I mean, hey guys, it's Corki Azir. Aren't you just excited about this matchup? We're gonna see so much action happening there. And you can already see, you know, Toxi, 4 CS. Oh, that made down to 3. Okay, just 2 CS ahead.
That pretty much sums up all the action we're going to have in this mid lane until some of our junglers turn up, to be honest. It's, you know, Corki and Azir is almost as exciting as watching Ezreal, in my opinion. We all know how much I love Ezreal as a champion, how prevalent he's been recently, but Imbi, rooted up, does need to be careful here. If he keeps eating this poke, Xayah very able to poke through the waves. All of those feathers do go through the minions, and just that chip away the health bar will cause some problems, and it's creating a lot of pressure for Vuptrox down on this bottom side of the map without really having to commit too much.
Alright, Yangang around the mid lane. Could be looking for a play. Right now just staying behind, warding. Omena does run the cleanse, so ganking this Corki is even trickier than it would be otherwise. Candy in my lean. Will spot the Sejuani. It's gonna be the stun. Dash away. There isn't really any imminent threat since Umena is busy in the mid lane. The bot lane of Imbi and Francesco are also getting pushed in, so Yangang gets out without burning anything.
Gets out without burning anything indeed, but a very aggressive and perhaps greedy place to back there for the Sejuani. The Silas had already backed, so when Candy Mylene came back onto Rift, he did have that power boost, but perhaps trying to play some mind games. We're seeing Yangang hasn't actually backed off, he's gone through his jungle, and is now pathing into the bush here on this bottom side. Wave is too far pushed at the minute to attempt anything, but might be looking for
the flash binding doesn't connect. The chains get onto Chrissy. He's gonna get stand up, but Candy in my lead is the target. That's the first blood picked up by Yangang. Francesco's the next. He's gonna lose a lot of health. However, that's the retaliation. Francesco picking up the kill. The binding is gonna get dodged away. Imbi down to 200. No mana on Chrissy. It seems that the bot lane trade will end up being a 1-for-1.
Even without backing, the passive from the Sejuani buys so much time. That extra magic and armor comes in clutch and allows for first blood to be secured. Candy Mylene will go down there. That will be first blood picked up to the Sejuani, but a return kill for Imbi's Caitlyn is not what Vuptrox were wanting there. They did stay around a little bit too long, and that's definitely going to go the side of Royal Reaper's bot lane here.
Yeah, they do get the Caitlyn onto the Morgana. The gold is well being secured by the Caitlyn, and the wave is about even. It will slow down whatever advantage Chrissy and Lepiggy might have gotten through that level 1, and it just puts this game in a further stalemate. I'm gonna make the call that we aren't going to see any game deciding plays until at least 50 minutes, but here's a replay.
Yeah, and as you look in here, Yangang was waiting in the wings, very aggressively forced by Candy in my lane to try and go for it. I like the idea, getting that first rotation onto the bot side, thinking that Yangang had already backed off, but excellent play by Imbi.
Toxi was going forward. He's got the level 6. The Emperor's Divine is available. You gotta watch out for the potential shuffles. None coming down just yet, though.
Dreamer Shuffle could potentially catch Candy in my lean out, but he does have the flash available still. It was Francesco that flashed forwards at the start of that play in bot, so he's actually the Morgana without that defensive summoner. Silas still able to make something happen with a flash abscond abduct.
Just looking at the rest of the map, top lane, it seems a bit even now. Endorser getting the push in, Awaken still ahead on the CS. The junglers, it was just that one play in the bot lane and just a bit of skirmish in the jungle. Not much more happening just yet. What spikes are we really waiting to hit before we see some decisive action?
So in terms of the mid lane, McCorkey is obviously going to be trying to build towards that the Trinity Force first. Might go for the Hex Drinker before that Trinity Force to give a bit more survivability in the lane against the Azir poke, but before he's able to really do any damage, it's going to be that Trinity Force. So in the mid lane, you're going to be quite a while, but this first item for Imbi is going to be quite big. The Infinity Edge works very nicely with Caitlyn's passive, where she has those guaranteed critical hits, is going to be racking up that damage, and that's really going to be where we might see a bit more attention from Royal Reapers on the bottom side of this map, trying to play around the Caitlyn a little bit more. But across the rest of the map, it's just fairly even. Just all the champions kind of don't really have a clear set break point that's worth discussing right now. It's all just going to be a bit of waiting, scaling up, and going forwards. Neither of these teams have a decisive early game power spike that's going to really tip them over the edge.
And the first Drake is Ocean on top of it all, so not a lot of priority being given to that poor dragon. We are pretty much just waiting. The teleports are available on everyone though, so if a fight breaks out, we are probably going to see a huge, 4v4 or maybe even a 5 versus 5 if everyone just happens to be there.
And this could be an avenue that Vuptrox Academy look to try and exploit. We've just seen it used now, but Toxi does have teleport in the mid lane on this Azir, whereas Omena has the cleanse. That means that if a fight does break out around the map and Vuptrox Academy are in a position to push the advantage or think they can make something from it, they can commit their mid laner and their top laner, get 2 men down there before Royal Reapers would be able to respond. So that is something we could look to potentially see as a way to break this game open and give Vuptrox an early advantage, but unfortunately Toxi did just use that TPing back into the mid lane, so for the next 5 minutes that will not be available.
Yangang waiting around that ball lane for Imbi or Francesco to overstep. The flash nearly available on the Morgana though, so unlikely to result in much at all. The Hex Drinker also now being completed by Omena will help him survive in the lane as Candy in my lead, now up in the top lane. I'm just so thirsty for any action. I'm looking for anything at all that could spark some fighting.
Yeah, I am chomping at the bit here, but we are going to get it here down the bot side.
Good flash to dodge from the binding. That is a lot of damage connecting. Flash away from MB. The Soul Shackles are going to stun up the SQ1. Here comes the Featherstorm. Stun United popped as well. And now can Royal Reapers turned around. Flash binding is going to nail pig it down. That's MB getting away with the kill. And Royal Reapers turn the play around.
Royal RR Awaken was not sleeping on that play. He had the reactions there, he knew exactly what was going on, and the Stand United saves his AD carry and allows the turnaround kill as well. Caitlyn picked that up, so now has a kill advantage down in the bot side of the map, and that is the second time that Vuptrox have tried to force something down this bot side and haven't come out ahead from it. Yes, they got the first blood in that first gank that they attempted, but now losing that kill over to the Caitlyn and committing so many ultimates, that's going to feel bad and give them a real problem down here.
And Imbi and Francesco, they just regained control over this bot side thanks to that play. If not now, then definitely on the next recall, as Yangang is here to contest the dragon. That's going to be the hijack Glacial Prison, level 8 to level 6. Can Candy Miley secure the dragon? No! It's stolen away by Yangang. Good play by the jungler of Vuptrox Academy. Can Toxi get a kill? Yes, he can. He just smacks the Silas in with the soldier.
And that is going to be a big pickup for Toxi there, getting more gold onto this, onto the Azir early as possible is going to be really big, helping him reach those item spikes quicker, getting that magic damage, getting that attack speed, going to be more and more of a potent threat. So very nice handover there, and the dragon as well to boot, going to give more survivability in these lanes.
It's definitely going to help if you are Vuptrox Academy. However, overall, Royal Reaper still ahead in goal. I think it can be mostly attributed to that CS lead in the jungle and in the top lane. But now, if you also look at the Caitlyn, you're so close to the Infinity Edge. You are pretty much nearly there. Thanks for the gold numbers, and you can see it is small, but it is actually there for the side of Royal Reapers.
Yeah, but it is a very, very slight gold lead overall, and it is coming through on this bot side of the map.
Hold on, Endorser, he might be in a lot of trouble. Awaken goes for the taunt. Good flash away from the Fear Beyond Death. Both flashes, all the top laners are gone, and that's going to be the end of this trade. The junglers now looking to capitalize. Yang Gang, he's walking past. Candy and Mylene stunned with the Abdact, forced to go over the wall, burn his flash as well. And the Royal Reapers, they just get the pressure in top lane.
A lot of pressure will come down, and Endorser doesn't have the TP to answer it as well. So whereas both top laners ideally need to back, get a reset.
Hold on, coming Mylene, he's really trying to extend the play. He hijacks the Fear Beyond Death, and that will be enough to send Vuptrox packing. Plays are available though in top lane. No Glacial Prison. Candy Mylene is the target. He uses that Fear Beyond Death. However, here comes the disdain. That's Yang Gang with the kill. Awaken uses the dash, and he's gonna get out to safety, but Vuptrox picked the kill up in top lane.
Yang Gang looking like he is really outperforming Candy in Mylene so far this game. We talked about how the jungler for Royal Reapers was a big part of the win the other week against Vuptrox, and it seems like he's struggling so far. Didn't go for that Rek'Sai. This Sylas just not having quite the impact. All of the deaths so far this game.
And then if you look at Yang Gang, he's 2-1-1 on the SQ1, 100% kill participation, and he's definitely putting the work necessary for Vuptrox to try and strike first in the best of series. But let's not forget, this game will be all about the teamfights, it will be all about the scaling. So despite everything happening right now, if you look at 10-15 minutes, it probably won't matter unless those mistakes will just keep happening.
Yeah, and although it's looking good for Royal Reapers at the minute, they do have a small gold advantage, they do have a kill onto the Caitlyn. It's not enough to decide the game so far. We're still sub 15 minutes, the Baron hasn't spawned yet. These teams are all about scaling, they're all about the team fights. That is where we're going to see who has the main advantage. I reckon there's going to be a bit of a skirmish around the Rift Herald before we see that's where the next big fight is going to be, and I think whoever responds to that and gets a clear advantage from there will control the pace of the game for the next 10 minutes or so.
Oh, look at Omena, he's got the package immediately looking for that play. Ace in the hole coming through. Good Featherstone from Chrissy. The taunt from Awaken, it doesn't connect. The Xayah is out under the tower. No health though. Here comes Yang Gang with the Glacial Prison. It's gonna nail Awaken in place. He's gonna go down. That's Chrissy with the kill. This time Royal Reapers initiate the play, and they are the ones losing out in it. Omena, he eats a tower, so he's gonna get the second one down to about 200. Toxie is rooted in place though. It's gonna be the kill. Oh, Chrissy, he's still taking damage. The heal has to be popped. Imbi, he secures the tide. Good flash from the Shroom shuffle by Toxie. And it's just back and forth fighting, but not a lot of kills going through now. Francesco. Alright, he's gonna get out.
A massive fight. Practically every single member got involved there, and although the turret was taken, the Azir turret has to rise to try and hold that lane, and there's going to be a lot of different kills going through there. Xayah will pick up her first kill of the game. Chrissy did have to use that flash and heal, but getting out alive and getting a kill is going to be very big for Vuptrox's bot lane going forwards and evening up that advantage that Royal Reapers had gained down there.
Alright, and we see now in the replay how it all happened. Chrissy, that's a beautiful Featherstorm, honestly, just instantly. And then, unfortunate taunt from Awaken, I'm just gonna say that. But just look at how no one dies here. Until now, Awaken is literally the only casualty for Royal Reapers.
Yeah, and I do apologise, Kazka. I would love to help you out with a bit of analysis on that, but I appear to be having some technical issues. I'm gonna I'm going to attempt to reconnect and sync everything up, so please do
Alright,
bear with me
yeah.
for a moment.
Fair enough, and then of course we saw the flash away from MB just to avoid getting picked off by Toxie. And after this fight, the gold is still in place, but we are hitting the item spikes, at least if you are Royal Reapers. The Trinity Force picked up by Omena, the Infinity Edge for MB, and the only real item to respond with is that you have that Nashor's Tooth for Toxie. So we start seeing some serious damage being built by both of those combs.
Yeah, the Infinity Edge is complete on Imbi as well, so that is going to be that first kind of spike for Caitlyn needs, but still going to need a little bit more to have the massive impact in these fights and be that huge backline threat that Caitlyn scales up to be. Both teams ramping up pressure around this mid lane now. All 5 members for each team are around, and it's no wonder because an Infernal Drake is going to be the target. It looks like Vuptrox are going to secure the priority in mid and head down here first, but Royal Reapers are fast on their heels.
They're not fast enough. It seems like Chrissy just secures the dragon with the blade collar. That's the Infernal. Seeing now on Vuptrox, they will be happy considering how scaling is likely going to be the name of the game. We hit 17 minutes, just 1 tower is taken. And now Candy Mylene, he's looking to secure the Rift Herald.
Might be able to sneak this away, but it's going to be spotted. Yangang could look to go in for this.
He's got the smite, he's going over the wall, he steals the Herald. That's just so sad for Royal Reapers. The SQ1 is alive, flashes over the wall, and Dorset, he's flashing in. He wants the piece of a pie, but he might have overestimated himself. That's Omena picking up the kill.
Little bit of miscommunication there for the members of Vuptrox as Yangang flashed out of the pit, ready to escape with the Rift Herald in tow. Dorset flashes in instead, trying to pick off Candy Mylene, who was on such low health, just managing to sneak away from that, but does not manage it, and he will lose his life in the process. So what was going to be an extremely clean and well-executed play by Vuptrox is let down at the end, but securing that Rift Herald is going to be big for them. It's going to allow them a lot of pressure onto these towers and potentially breaking open the map a little bit more for themselves.
Well, Reaper secure the top lane tower. The good play by them. They lose the Herald, but they are striking back, not giving up on the game, and I mean, there's no reason to. It's far from being decisive. The Royal Reapers, their gold lead just keeps on growing. They are now up to 2,000.
Yeah, and although we're seeing Vuptrox seemingly dominate these fights, a lot of these fights are looking very one-sided so far, at least when they have broke into these big 5v5s that we've seen within the past few minutes. Royal Reapers are still ahead. They've got slight advantages in a lot of lanes here, and it's difficult to try and wrap your head around that when I say it does look like it's been so dominant for the side of Vuptrox, but you've got to remember a lot of that gold is going to be coming from towers. That first tower blood did go over in the bot lane, and on the top side as well, another tower was lost, so that's going to be standing gold. Vuptrox looking to try and recover here. 2 members and a Rift Herald on this bot side of the map. No real presence so far from Royal Reapers. The bot lane only just making it down now.
Candy, Miley, and Francisco taking the last cone. Omena is also gonna join. That's not gonna finish the turret off. The wave clear is here. Can now Vuptrox answer in the mid lane. That's a great stun in onto MB. The Stand United though, as well as the stopwatch is going to save him. Awakening quick on the finger. And that's the AD carry of Royal Reaper saved.
A lot of resources used to try and keep Imbi alive there. Did hold on to his flash and the heal, so still has those available to him, but all it took was the Glacial Prison of the Sejuani, and immediately you blow the Stand United and you blow the stopwatch. So Vuptrox can just look to try and make this repeat play again, and they have those defensive tools blown that provides Imbi a lot of safety. The top lane turret will fall, a little bit of gold into Vuptrox Academy's back pocket there, but Royal Reaper's not wanting to relent in the pressure around this mid lane.
Got the Caitlyn with the Infinity Edge and the BF sword already. Why would you stop? You're gonna just secure your 3rd tower, and that's Royal Reapers getting the outer ring done. The Baron is up, they can now just go in, sweep all the vision. And Vuptrox, they need to actually start doing something proactive, because they are falling behind.
Yeah, and Summoner's Rift is like an onion, you know, it's got lots of layers. You need to peel them away to get to the sweet, sweet, juicy core of the Nexus. And Royal Reapers have taken that outer layer from Vuptrox. That will be Azir's turret raised in the mid lane. You're not going to fool me this time out of the corner of my ear, Mr. Emperor of Shurima. You've already lost that tower. Royal Reapers looking to push onto the next. They've opened up the map. They will be able to establish some vision control. And with that Baron spawned up on the top side, that is going to be the focus of a lot of their attention.
Alright, the man are now moving into the mid lane. He did use the package, but to be honest, I can't really see Royal Reapers going for a massive engagement in the next 2 minutes or so. The next dragon is also an Infernal, and Vuptrox definitely want to get at it. If they can secure double Infernal, it will be great, but now it's also the opportunity for Royal Reapers to get a decisive fight in their favor, and probably just seal this game as very heavily in their favor.
This is where the teams are going to fight around next. Like you said, having the double Infernal on the side of Vuptrox would be a massive, massive benefit to their scale and composition. Royal Reapers took position around the river first. That turret in the mid lane has fallen for Vuptrox, so they won't have that save to try and fall back on. And it looks like they're backing away. They don't quite want to contest this so far because they are a man down. Endorser is still walking down mid, and this is going down very quickly for Royal Reapers.
There is no vision for Vuptrox, they just can't face shake. It's gonna be secured by the side of Royal Reapers. Now they are looking like they want to take the fight. Yangang sticking in the front line. This is Candy Leaf just jumping forward. He nails the stun in onto the SQ1. The Glacial Prison now from Yangang is gonna connect as well. The Fear Beyond Death pulls in Awaken. That's Vuptrox already with 2 Imbi flashes in and away. That's 3 for Vuptrox Academy, I should say. They make that effort on Citadel for Doxy, but Omena, he is still alive. Level 13 core. How much can he do? The soldiers, they're hitting on him. Chrissy is looking for the kill, and that's an ace going to be hit at 23 minutes for Vuptrox Academy.
The Baron is up and alive. 20 seconds on almost every member of Royal Reapers. Vuptrox could look to try and burn down the Baron here. They have the Xayah, they have the Azir, a very fast comp for Sejuani to tank it up as well. This could be a massive play for Vuptrox Academy. The health bar is dropping 9,000, 8,000, 6,000. Royal Reapers are not going to be able to respond in time for this, and that's going to be a 23.5 minute Baron over to Vuptrox Academy after a clean ace.
And they make the gold lead disappear. They are now just shy of 1,000 gold ahead, and let's look at actually how this fight went, because it looked good for Royal Reapers at the beginning.
Yeah, there's just no vision anywhere around this mid lane. So Omena and Awaken step too far forwards. They are immediately, all of the CC layer chunked down. Omena jumps off to the side to try and take out Yangang. So it's a 4 versus 4 in the middle. And that is a situation that Vuptrox just straight up win. They have the stats advantage. Endorser is able to move forward. He will be picked up there. But Toxie and Chrissy, the key damage dealers for Vuptrox Academy, simply weren't targeted in that fight. They had free reign to try and just free hit that entire fight. All of the damage coming through. Omena just wasn't able to do enough there.
And 2 items sitting now on both Toxie and Chrissy. They are the 2 big carries. Lepiggy finishing the Ardent Sensor will help with the damage output. And now with the Baron buff, Vuptrox Academy, they are looking to just knock down all of the towers. And it starts to look good for them. Royal Reapers, they will need to probably just sit through those next 2 minutes. Look for what you can, but don't lose anything more. Because if you do, then the game, you're just going to put yourself in a bad situation.
Within those fights that we just saw, the gold lead was evened up and extended by the side of Vuptrox. Those towers have now been evened up as well, so neither team has access to the outer ring of defenses. The map is in a very balanced state right now, despite how decisive those past 2 minutes were for Vuptrox. Getting the ace, getting the Baron, they haven't really managed to make a massive gold lead. And that's a testament to how strong both of these teams are right now. These are 2 of the highest teams within our league. They both fought their way through the regular split, and they are definitely not wanting to give up now. But there's still 1.5 minutes left on this Baron buff for Vuptrox, and they will be looking to try and knock down another tower, or at least do some substantial damage to it.
They are regrouping up in the mid lane. They managed to retaliate, taking the same towers as Royal Reaper, so no outer towers for anyone left. And we're just waiting. Endorser, he has hit his second item, the Righteous Glory. The engage is coming together for Vuptrox Academy, and they are starting to look like a very formidable team fighting formation.
One of the weaknesses of the Urgot is not being able to get access to the targets. Although he's a ranged top laner, he hasn't got the largest range at all. It's quite short, and he needs to be within melee range, almost like moving around his targets. So using that Righteous Glory allows him to get into the middle of that fight, allows him to position exactly where he needs to be, and put a lot of pressure down. But up on the top side, I'm seeing a fight.
Omena has got the package. Look at all the poke he's dishing out. Chrissy down to half, he holds onto his ult, he holds onto his flash, and Daughter is down in the ball lane. Royal Reapers, just like that, they prevent the push from Vuptrox.
The gold lead is still sitting with Vuptrox though. Only 15 seconds left on this Baron. They're going to try again. This is the last minion wave to do it, but a lot of minions of Royal Reapers have moved away now.
Ooh, Yangang, he nails the ultimate once again onto MB. The Stand United shield is going to help though, and also channels his teleport. Omena in the front. He's looking for the auto attacks. The Urgot is gonna dash back from Sesko on the sides. He doesn't really get a good soul shackles off. It's gonna be interrupted. The binding goes wide as well. Vuptrox Academy pick up the tower, but no one dies.
That was a really nice, clean play by Vuptrox Academy there. They waited out the siege, they performed that really cleanly, they got out alive, and they took the tower. They got what they came for, but unfortunately, what's this? The bottom side of the map there is a dragon spawning. That is the third Infernal of the game. Uh-oh, bad time to reset for Vuptrox because Royal Reapers are already here.
They're gonna be able to secure that unless Yangang can somehow steal it, and it's not gonna happen. He flashes in for good measure, but the entire team of Royal Reapers goes over the wall. They they take the second Infernal Drake away from Vuptrox, and now they are the ones that will be happy scaling later on.
Just as I'm praising Vuptrox Academy for some clean macro play, rotations around the map coming out well, they make a crucial error and back off as that Drake is spawning. They think they can get to it before Royal Reapers can, but no, they choose not to back and instead rush straight to that dragon. Royal Reapers will secure it, and like you said, that is the third Infernal of the game. No more will be spawning, and we sit at a 1 advantage over to Royal Reapers, so they will have the extra damage if this game goes super late and we get to these massive, massive endgame team fights.
Omena already, the Triforce and Essence Weaver is a pretty big spike for a Corki. He's working towards what I can only assume will be a Zeal item. As well, MB 2.5. It is pretty evenly matched, though I still have to keep looking at Toxi because he is now on 3 items, completed that Zonias. There's just so many carries. The 4 people, the mid laners and AD carries on both sides, I think those are the ones that we need to keep an eye on in all the team fights.
And this is one of the things. If you look at the side of Royal Reapers, it's very obvious to spot who the carries are, who the damage dealers are. Yes, Candy in my lane will be doing a lot of burst damage. He will be able to execute people if they fall low, but really you're looking at Omena and Imbi on the Corki and the Caitlyn. For the side of Vuptrox, that's not quite as clear cut. You've got Toxi and Chrissy on the Azir and the Xayah. Of course, they're going to be doing a huge amount of damage, but you also have Endorser, and while Urgot is a bit of a strange champion, he's not a proper tank, he's not a proper damage dealer, he's kind of a bit of a brawly mix. If he's not focused down in a team fight, he can do a huge amount of work, and that ultimate can get a team-wide fear off, which can turn the fight in an instant. So there's a lot more threats that Royal Reapers need to be aware of, and they certainly need to have good positioning, otherwise they could fall prey to some easy mistakes.
Alright, the Baron is back on the Rift. Vision Dance has commenced. Royal Reapers drop their wards, but now it's the turn for Vuptrox. They just take all of them out. They do start the Baron. I think they want to bait out the fight. They will be spotted by the blue trinket. The Baron keeps going down. Yangang is behind the pit. That's the hijacked Glacial Prison. Not gonna get the stun off. The Baron is going to be secured by Yangang. That's not gonna be the steal from Candy in my lane. He's in the middle of the pit. He's taken down by Endorser. The rest of Royal Reapers are gonna be fine. Awaken trading a turret for it. But that's another Baron going for Vuptrox Academy.
Candy in Mylene will not be able to find that miracle play like he did previously. He doesn't manage to steal that Baron, and it will be the second Baron of the game going over to Vuptrox. This is going to be a very nice position for them. The Azir and the Xayah are starting to scale up. They're starting to become these potent ranged threats. So now with another 5 minutes on the Baron to try and but now with the extended time on the Baron to push forwards and really pressure this base, Royal Reapers are definitely on the back foot now. They need to dig in deep. They need to not lose too much of a base. The goal here is not to lose an inhibitor, and ideally cling on to those tier 2 turrets as long as possible. That is going to be increasingly difficult as we see the resets. We see some more items picked up for this Xayah and the Azir.
And it's starting to look scary if you are Royal Reapers. They played against Vuptrox and it was a similar game in terms of what has happened. Vuptrox were ahead, now they are ahead. But this time the salvation for Royal Reapers isn't coming just yet. We hit 30 minutes already a while ago. And the scaling is starting to take toll. And the longer this game goes, the longer it will become about the execution, the individual carries, the individual players stepping up in the moment. And this is where it all becomes very interesting.
And a lot of that difference when these teams met last time was in the jungle. Royal Reapers had a fantastic performance from Candy and Mylene, stealing the Baron, doing so much work on the Rek'Sai. And so far this Sylas 052, definitely not looking too impressive. 217 is Yang Gang's score on the Sejuani. He's seen so many steals. He has been really, really impressive. It seems that they've showed up that weakness and far surpassed Royal Reapers so far in the jungling department this series. And they're now looking to close in on the base. 3 members on this bot side, but going for the 1-3-1. Sejuani has backed off, bringing in that wave in the mid lane, while Azir is pushing in top side. It's going to take a lot for Royal Reapers to be able to withstand this siege. We'll have to see whether they can hold on to this base.
Double cannon creeps in the bot lane. Caitlyn is down in the mid lane, so MB won't be able to clean them out as easily. And look at the damage that Vuptrox is dealing. They should be able to knock it down. Chrissy stepping forward. He's just throwing in those auto attacks, but the triple cannon minion death squad just executes the bot lane inhib tower. That's Vuptrox Academy, breaking open the base of Royal Reapers.
Yeah, now having flashbacks to Banner of Command days when we saw the bannered up, Baroned up minions just demolishing towers one by one. Luckily, that has been removed from the game. We're not seeing any of these escort the minions anymore, but these cannon minions racking up, still doing a lot of damage, and it's all of just these little chips that is going to slowly poke down. But Amena might be able to find Toxi here.
Yeah, Toxi, he did eat the Fury Beyond Death. It's gonna time out. Toxi burns his flash, but Omena, he follows it through. That's a shutdown. Suddenly, Vuptrox Academy, they find themselves a man short. Can they find the disengage? Because Candy Mylene, he's going forward, and I think he just decided to drop the AD very quickly.
Yeah, Vuptrox deciding to get away. They're going instead for that Drake, for that extra sustainability the Ocean Drake will give them. It's a fairly free objective at this point. I don't think Royal Reapers are going to want to risk a full-blown team fight over this. Regardless, they won't get the chance. They still have a base to defend, and we're seeing a replay now. Omena simply pushing down Toxi. Toxi pushed forwards too aggressively. The Corki has the slightly better maneuverability, able to chase him down and finish him off.
Now with the rapid fire cannon completed, Omena is just so damn strong, and it's just all the scaling. It's coming together, guys. We are about to hit some nutty team fights, as I'm gonna put it, because the death cap is also close to the to completion on Toxi.
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say. And we've got to remember as well, Toxi being caught out is a big factor at any point of the game, but so far he hadn't actually been killed. So a massive shutdown going over to Omena when he picked up that kill. That is going to be a lot of gold injected into this Corki that you're looking to carry Royal Reapers through this fight as the game is getting more and more crucial. So really bad misplay by Toxi there, and good hats off to Omena being able to chase him down. And no inhibitors have fallen. That was the objective for Royal Reapers. This Baron buff has faded away now, but they did manage to hold onto their base. The turrets fell. Vuptrox entered in, but they weren't able to actually take the inhibitors, and that is the crucial thing, allowing Royal Reapers to step this far out and still advance onto the Rift now.
The Baron up in 40 seconds. The vision is starting to be laid out by Royal Reapers. They get the priority in mid. And can Royal Reapers deny it? Will it be the second or the third Baron for Vuptrox? I think it will be the third one now.
Third one indeed.
Yeah,
it will be the third Baron, but it looks like Vuptrox, they don't want to do this Baron dance. Royal Reapers, you might have miscalculated this. You've actually got an open base with 3 open inhibitors. Vuptrox don't need to fight for the Baron. If you go and abandon your base like this, Endorser and Chrissy already on it. They're going to take 1 inhibitor fairly free.
Candy in my lean, he's on the backside. That's the Featherstorm already going to be popped. Chrissy pulls back the feathers. Candy in my lean goes golden. Awaken joins in thanks to that Stunned United. Toxie on the sideline. That's a level 18 Azir. Stunned with the hijacked Glacial Prison. Endorser is standing strong in the front line. Chrissy takes a big chunk of damage. Now from the headshot as well. The fight is inconclusive as always, but the Royal Reapers are able to push Vuptrox Academy away.
Imbi doing so much damage there. That Caitlyn just poking in, chipping away at those health bars, and Vuptrox are forced to flee with the tail between their legs. They didn't manage to actually take that inhibitor. They've got low health bars. Royal Reapers, this could be the opportunity they need to try and push for the Baron if they want it.
And I wonder how fast they burn it. No Mountain Dragons, but you've got 2 Marksmen, both at 3.5 items each. And that is a lot of Baron damage if you ask me. They aren't going to do anything stupid, nothing overly risky. It is a best of 3, you technically have 1 more chance, but throwing a game 1 that lasts at the very least 37 minutes is gonna be a feels bad man if it happens.
Definitely not going to put your team in the best mental state going forward for the rest of the split. Always has you at match point on the back foot, but it is going to be quite scary for Royal Reapers now in this team fights because VPX Toxie has just completed the Rabadon's death cap. I don't know exactly how much AP this Azir has right now, but I'm gonna guess it's around the 500 to 600 kind of mark. He is simply going to be shredding through his health bars if he's allowed to free hit, and they have to try and target him and take him out, otherwise Vuptrox Academy will run over these fights now.
And if you are Royal Reapers, you have a lot of long-range poke. That's something we didn't necessarily talk about. They can utilize it properly. However, this Baron is going down so fast. Yang Gang, he's behind the pit. He's level 15. He's got the flash. He goes in. It's stolen by Chrissy the Zaya, picking up the Baron. Now, Vuptrox, they're going to lose 1 member. Candy and Mylene dropping. Look at Toxie, though. He takes the first inhibitor. Royal Reapers, they do not have the buffed up recalls. They're trying to get in the base. That's going to be 1 member going away. The Featherstone for Chrissy, it's popped. Endorser goes for the Fear Beyond Death. He gets the Fear onto 1. Omena had the Black Shield. Toxie, he's in the base. He's looking for the Nexus start. Can MB stop him? I don't think he can. The Nexus is exposed. The teleport is coming through. And Vuptrox Academy, they're gonna take the game 1 over Royal Reapers.
All of a sudden, a hero play from Vuptrox Academy. Chrissy steals that Baron, and it is bad news bears for Royal Reapers. They already had an open base. The Azir was pushing on the bottom side, and as soon as he got that Baron buff, it was all over. All that Vuptrox needed to do was delay those recalls, stop those members of Royal Reapers getting back to the base, and they win out the game in a fairly dominating style. Once they got that gold advantage, they didn't let it go. They put their foot on the pedal, and Royal Reapers looked to be faltering there towards the end.
Yeah, both teams opted in for the scaling, but I think at least in game 1 it was clear which team has got their late game figured out. Let's look at what actually happened, because I didn't notice Toxie in the bot lane, but that play at the end.
Here we go. So Yangan goes over Wob. It's actually Chrissy that steals it. Yangan takes up so much damage while all of the return fire is coming through from the back of the pit. 1 member is lost already, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to have the team fight here. You have the Azir pushing. He is able to take the base so easily by himself. He has the minion wave. So this fight in the mid lane, in the river, sorry, kind of irrelevant as to what happens because it is all about the base race. Omena will end up going down in the end here, but Toxie, the MVP of the match, knowing that he doesn't need to commit to that fight around the Baron, trusting in his team to secure it, or at the very least delay Royal Reapers for as long as possible, and he will end it for his team.
And let's just, I mean, I just want to bring it up, how important that Baron still was. You saw the recalls from Royal Reapers, only Imbi made it back. That was a level 16 Caitlyn against level 18 as Azir. No way Caitlyn ever wins that unless Toxie decides to walk into every single trap.
Yeah.
And the lack of Baron-empowered recalls meant that Vuptrox Academy, they could interrupt them, they did interrupt them, and that's what enabled them to take this game one of the best of 3.
Yeah, and I want to give a quick shout out to Le Piggy there at the end. You kind of caught it on the bottom side of a fight, but we didn't call it out because there was more important things going on at the time. The use of the redemption to deal damage to 2 members of Royal Reapers and cut those recalls short is massive. If we would have had more members of Royal Reapers getting back, they could potentially have killed Toxie's Azir, they could have pushed him away and saved their base, but as soon as it was only 1 member getting back, you knew the game was over. Nobody could go toe-to-toe with this Azir in a 1v1, apart from maybe the Corki, but Omena was caught up, he was taken down, and Vuptrox Academy will walk away the victors of our game 1.
They will, and yeah, Vuptrox Academy, they are now on a match point, but we will go over into a break. So stay here to see if Royal Reapers take us to game 3, or if Vuptrox Academy will punch a ticket to the semi-final. We will be right back.